Look at your car, look at your phone, look at the lights in your room right now. Everything you see, every single thing you touch runs on a system that is about to get absolutely wrecked. We are talking about a $50 trillion shift that is moving so fast it is making the old global bosses look like they are stuck in the mud. For the last 100 years, if you had the oil, you had the power. But those days are officially numbered. The kings of the old world are sweating bullets because the new energy game does not care about their desert wells or their rusty pipelines. This is the biggest wealth transfer in human history, and it is going to flip the world map upside down. If you think things are going to stay the same, you are dreaming. The crash is coming, the money is moving, and the winners are already picking their spots. Hello, friends, welcome to Geo Unseen YouTube channel. Today we explain the massive $50 trillion energy transition that is about to crash old superpowers and build a totally new world order. Think about the world like a giant high school. For a long time, the cool kids were the ones who owned the gas stations. If you wanted to move your army, fly your planes, or even just feed your people, you had to play nice with them. You had to use their currency and follow their rules. But now, the game is changing from liquid fuel to tech and minerals. This $50 trillion is not just a random number someone made up. It is the massive tidal wave of cash flowing into solar, wind, batteries, and the smart grids of the future. This is not just about being green or saving some polar bears. Let us be real, this is about cold, hard survival. If a country stays hooked on oil like an addict, they are going to go broke while the rest of the world moves on to something faster and cheaper. Let us look at the old superpowers first. You know the ones. They built massive, shiny cities in the middle of the desert because they had that black gold. For decades, they were untouchable. They could crash the global economy just by turning a valve. But what happens when the world simply stops buying what you are selling? It is like being the best typewriter salesman in the world right after the computer was invented. You might be the best at what you do, but nobody cares anymore. These countries are freaking out. They are trying to change their whole vibe before the money runs out. They are building tourist spots and trying to act like tech hubs because they know the clock is ticking. Every solar panel installed in Europe or China is like a tiny dagger in the heart of the old oil empires. And then you have the big dogs like the US and China. They are in a massive street fight right now. This is not a normal competition. This is a winner takes all kind of situation. They are fighting to see who can control the supply chain for the new world. See, the old game was about where the oil was buried. You just had to find it and guard it. But the new game? It is about who can build the most efficient batteries and who owns the mines for things like lithium, cobalt, and copper. It is a totally different kind of war. It is a war of smarts, factories, and control over tiny bits of rock rather than just drilling big holes in the ground. This shift is crazy because it is happening way faster than any of the experts predicted. Every time you see a new electric car on the street, that is a little bit of power being taken away from an old oil giant. And it is not just cars. Huge factories, the ones that make everything you wear and eat, are switching to clean energy because it is actually getting cheaper than coal or gas. Imagine that. It is actually cheaper to just grab energy from the sun than it is to pay people to dig up rocks and burn them. That is the tipping point. When the money makes more sense, the change becomes a freight train that nobody can stop. Now, let us dive deep into the real drama. If you want to know who is winning this $50 trillion race, you have to look at China. For a long time, the world looked at China as just a place that makes cheap toys and clothes. But while everyone else was busy worrying about oil in the Middle East, China was playing the long game. They were quiet, they were fast, and they were smart. They realized years ago that the future of power is not in the ground, it is in the battery. Right now, China controls a huge chunk of the world's supply of the stuff we need to build a green world. We are talking about lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements. Without these, your electric car is just a heavy piece of metal sitting on your driveway. Your smartphone is just a glass brick. China basically went around the world and signed deals with everyone. They went to Africa, they went to South America, and they said, "We will build your roads and bridges if you give us your minerals." And it worked. Now, if the US or Europe wants to build a battery factory, they often have to go through China to get the raw materials. This is making the old superpowers absolutely flip out. Imagine being the boss of the world and suddenly realizing you have to ask your biggest rival for the parts to build your own energy system. That is a total nightmare for Washington. This is why you see so much tension in the news. It is not just about trade, it is about who owns the ingredients for the next 100 years of human history. But the US is not just sitting there. They are waking up and they are starting to throw massive amounts of cash at the problem. They are trying to build their own supply chains and move their factories out of China. But here is the thing, you cannot just build a battery industry overnight. It takes years to build a mine and even longer to build the refineries. The US is playing catch up, and when you are playing catch up in a $50 trillion game, you have to run twice as fast just to stay in the race. This competition is what is driving the prices of everything up and down. It is a roller coaster, and we are all on it whether we like it or not. Let us talk about the minerals themselves for a minute. People call lithium the white gold. It is the most important thing in the world right now. In the old days, countries would go to war over oil fields. In the future, the big fights might be over salt flats in Chile or mines in the Congo. This is the new geography of power. If you are a country that has these minerals, you are suddenly the most popular kid in school. Everyone wants to be your friend, everyone wants to give you loans, and everyone wants to sign a treaty with you. But this also brings a lot of trouble. History shows us that when a country has a lot of a valuable resource, the big powers usually come knocking, and they do not always bring flowers. This is where the transition gets really messy. We are trying to build a cleaner world, but the process of getting these minerals is often dirty and tough. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of water to get lithium out of the ground. This is the big irony of the energy shift. To save the planet, we have to dig it up like never before. And the scale of what we need is mind blowing. We are talking about needing hundreds of new mines just to keep up with the demand for electric cars. If we do not get those minerals, the $50 trillion shift will stall, and the old superpowers will keep their grip for a lot longer. The middle class in the West is also feeling the squeeze. They want to be part of the future, but the tech is still expensive. The governments are trying to help by giving out cash and tax breaks, but that money has to come from somewhere. It is a massive circle of debt and investment. But the goal is clear. If you can be the first to master this technology, you will be the one writing the rules for the next century. You will be the one selling the tech to everyone else. You will be the one with the high paying jobs and the clean air. I want to pause here and ask you guys a question. Do you think it is fair that a few countries control all the minerals we need for the future? Also, would you be willing to pay more for your car or your phone if you knew it was helping to crash the power of the old oil dictators? Drop a comment below and let us get a conversation going. The old superpowers are not just going to fade away quietly. They have trillions of dollars in the bank and they have huge armies. They are trying to use their remaining oil wealth to buy their way into the new world. You see them investing in massive solar farms in the middle of the desert. They are trying to become the kings of hydrogen and the kings of carbon capture. I want to wrap this up by asking you one last thing. After seeing all this, do you think the world will actually be a more peaceful place when we are not fighting over oil anymore, or will we just find new things to fight about? I really want to hear your final thoughts on this one. If you want to stay ahead of the game and understand these massive global shifts before they happen, make sure you subscribe to GeoUnseen YouTube channel. We are here to break down the complex stuff and make it easy for you to see the big picture. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive like this one. Share this video with your friends and family so they can also understand why the world is changing so fast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Peace out, and we will see you in the next one. Subscribe GeoUnseen YouTube channel for more.